If you want to see what I consider to be my top 14 most romantic palettes in my collection, then stick around. Hi there, it's Hélène, and yes, we are going to talk romantic palettes today. And as a matter of fact, I am wearing one of them today. So this look was created with the Lancôme Holiday Set 2019 Glam edition, and I am so happy with how this more sultry look turned out that I thought I would film a few more videos with it. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, and let's go right into it. But if you do want to know everything that is on my face, you can see it always in the description box, and when that video becomes available, I will link it right here so that you can see how I created this one and a more toned down look as well with that palette, and you will see that palette in this video as well. So hang on, I will show you what I used for today's look. So we're going to go a little bit of a countdown way, which is the least but still romantic palette. First, going to what I think are the absolute best of the best in my collection. So 14 palettes total, 14 Valentine's Day, it all works. So here is the first one, which is the NYX Ignite. And there are a number of colors in this palette that I think are very romantic like. So this row up here and some of them over on this side I think are really, really quite nice for a soft romantic look. And it's a mix of more purpley burgundy pinks, and I think that you could do some really, really nice looks with this palette. This next one is a palette that I suspect a lot of people have either heard of or have in their collection or had at some point, and it's the Tartelette in Bloom. I mean, just the outer packaging speaks a little bit to some romantic aspects, and the palette itself has a lot of basic neutrals and shimmers, and it's very approachable for a lot of folks. And I would suspect that any one of the three rows that are here would result in a very nice look paired with possibly a more bold or understated lip. Could look very nice, very romantic, and you can go more taupey, you can go more bronzy, and you can even go more in the chocolates and cocos in the last row. So I think this one is a no-brainer, easy, very pretty look for an outing with a significant other. Or just by yourself. There are no rules for Valentine's Day or for a romantic outing, period. Now the next one might surprise you, but I really do think it is soft and pretty and inspires some romantic looks, and that is the Douce by Juvia's Place. And there are a number of colors in here that I feel speak to me as far as Valentine's Day. I love the deep chocolate color right here, and there are a few really beautiful pinks in here. And the artwork as well for Juvia's Place is very very light compared to some other artwork that they have for palettes, and it just speaks to me as far as the ability to do either a sultry look, maybe pairing these two, or a softer look using these colors over here. So I really think that there's a lot of potential in this palette to create either an evening or a daytime look, more on the softer side. And the colors, you can do something that would be not surprising for Valentine's Day, but still using some colors that might not have come to mind initially if it were not for this palette. So that is why it made the cut. Next up is a palette that is relatively new to my collection, but that I have wanted for over 2 years, and it is the Tarteist Pro. And the reason I put it in this series is because of the third row right here. This row is what made me think to include it in this overview of 14 palettes for kind of a romantic look. Now you could argue that the one above could be as well, but this is really the one I had in mind when I picked this palette. And it's very, very pretty with kind of a dusty burgundy and just a really nice muted fuchsia burgundy. They're really, really pretty. And minks I have done on my inner to center lid, and it really gave me those romantic vibes. So that is why this palette made it on the list. And I do love how luxe the packaging is. It just makes makeup application on the day of use, it just brings it up a notch just because the experience of putting the makeup on is so good. Next up, speaking of packaging, although it's more of a festive packaging, the colors certainly lend themselves to Valentine's Day. It is the Glitter Storm from Ciaté from I think it's 2 holidays ago now. But look at the colors. These make me think of boudoir colors, especially the mattes in the center here. I think this is a perfect grouping of colors for a nice, soft or edgy romantic look, especially with one of these glitters on the inner to center lid, one of these on the outer lid, or if you prefer a warm look, these two and this one would be beautiful. It's just, I love this palette. I like recommending this palette because 3 shadows and you're done. It's a very easy way to produce a beautiful look without having to pull your hair out trying to figure out how to make the palette work. It's really very user-friendly. Next up is the Too Faced Just Peachy. And I think that this is really a great Valentine's Day or romantic palette because these colors all look great together. They're all matte, so they're going to create a beautiful, soft, even if it's a deep look. And this quadrant right here is what has me, or pulls me in as far as a look for Valentine's Day. I love the fact that you have the more, let me bring it up again, the more intense peachy side or the more intense burgundy side. So you can do cool or warm. There's definitely a lot of options in this palette, despite the fact that it's very neutral. Plus, it smells absolutely delightful. Next up is not going to be a surprise, I think, for a lot of people, and that is the Naked 3. And the Naked 3, I have to say, every single time I wear this palette, I get compliments. It is really quite pretty. You can do a ton of soft looks, but then you also have this really deep shade at the very end of the palette that can amp things up really, really well. I didn't realize how much my nail polish matches the palette. I am really big on a number of the colors in this palette, but definitely Dust, Buzz, Trick I also do like, and then definitely this Dark Heart. And this palette also has an associated double-ended pencil. I don't know if Urban Decay still sells it, but there are some colors in Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On that really match this palette beautifully. You can do a lot with this. You can do a lot of cool looks. You can do rosy looks. You can definitely do sultry using the couple of shades at the edge here. Every single look I've done with this palette, like I said, I get compliments, and I usually think 2 things when I use this palette. One is, why don't I use it more? And the second is, can it get any easier? So I highly recommend, especially if you are a little bit sheepish of trying different eyeshadows, this palette is super, super user-friendly. Now this next palette is what inspired this Valentine's Day video actually, and it's the Naked Cherry. And it gave me such Valentine's Day vibes that I wanted to do a Valentine's Day video with palettes, and this one definitely is up there. And I'm just going to open it for you. So here's, the box is very pretty. And here is the palette. So it has some embossed letters here. And there are a number of, I hope you can see it, there are a number, gosh, it's glary. There we go. A number of cherries all the way along the packaging. And And it's the typical size of a naked palette. And here is the inside. And of course, this whole palette, this whole color scheme just screams Valentine's Day, very much like the color palette that I used for this look today. And there's also a brush that comes with it, as is usual for naked palettes, and this is what it looks like. Now, I ended up treating myself to this one when I received the Urban Decay PR package. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put it right here. This palette came on for half off at the Urban Decay Canada website, and so I got it for $32, I think, 32 or 34. And when I saw it was available for that price, and that I basically had all-nighter setting spray for the year, $217 worth of stuff, that I thought, well, I've been wanting this one for a long time. It's half off, and I justified it because of everything else that I don't have to buy for the year. And I'm really, really happy that I got it, especially for somebody with green eyes. This color scheme is absolutely my jam. It will make my green eyes pop, and I cannot wait to start playing with it. There's especially these three right here. Oh my goodness. They look so, so good. And I don't see any of these colors that I have from Urban Decay, so I'm really, really happy. Anyway, so it's middle of the pack, and it's only middle of the pack because I haven't tried it yet, and so I can't say it's fantastic, I can't say it's terrible, so I put it kind of in the middle of the sandwich. Now, I have two more palettes that I have not tried, but I know them well enough because they're all over YouTube, so I'm very comfortable with putting them there. At first, I was not going to put the Soft Glam in, but a lot of folks have said that they have replaced their love for modern Renaissance with Soft Glam. And I put this one in for that reason, but also because there are a number of colors in here that would work so well to do a beautiful, beautiful look. And to me, these three up here enable a fantastic look, and the golds and neutrals right here. I mean, this dusty rose is absolutely beautiful. So there are a ton of mattes, which I think help create a soft look. And then you've got some beautiful golden and pinkish shimmers to finish up a look. And if you want to do a really sultry look, there's even a sultry color that definitely catches my eye every time I open this palette. Now, I will admit that this palette I was not going to get initially, but it came together as a set with Modern Renaissance. And I have to say, though, that since receiving it and looking at it, I'm so pleased that I have it, even though there are a couple of repeat shades in this one that show up in Modern Renaissance. But I'm happy with it, and I really would not hesitate if I had to grab a palette to do a look very quickly. I know that I would do something very, very nice, attractive, appropriate, whether it was for daytime or evening. And the velvety nature of the packaging as well just gives it that romantic feel also. Now, that said, the Soft Glam's sister palette, the Modern Renaissance, is higher up on the list than Soft Glam because, to me, this whole side of the palette speaks Valentine's Day to me. Speaks romantic. I love letter. I mean, do I need to say more? Love letter and Venetian red. I love those two quite a bit. And they were, I have to say, they were probably the reason I wanted the Modern Renaissance to begin with, along with really liking the Anastasia formula. And they're all beautiful. There's not a single one of these colors that I don't like. So to me, this palette, the velvet cover, the selection of colors just oozes a romantic feel, in my opinion. So it's pretty high up on the list as far as romantic palettes in this collection. Now we get to these. And I put both of them in because both of them give me the romantic vibes. And I'm going to show you the warm one first. And this is it right here. And the golds and bronzes, and this beautiful evening option, everything in here just speaks glam, speaks richness. It makes me think Natasha Denona Gold palette. I mean, there's just luxury, special kind of vibes from this palette. I really, really love how it was curated, and it is, again, for the warmer side. It's absolutely beautiful. If you want to see the two looks I created with this palette most recently, I will put it right here. And this second one is the one that I am wearing today. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I did link it as soon as it's available. This look is available. And it looks like this. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I used these four as my base. And then I went and deepened up the look with this deep purple. And I love both of these palettes. They create such fetching looks that I don't hesitate to recommend them. And as a matter of fact, both of them are in my drawer, in my vanity in the bathroom, and palettes don't usually go there unless I am quite partial to them. And they have not left since I did all of my holiday set reviews and recommendations. They are that good. Lancôme hit it out of the park for holiday 2019, no question. Now for one that I always think of as Valentine's Day and sexy and exciting, it is the Buxom Dolly's Wild Side. Just even the packaging makes me think of Valentine's Day. And I absolutely love the colors. And it's really this one that does it for me, but the whole set of colors can create such a gorgeous, gorgeous eye look. And I think it's because they're boudoir pinks and browns, except for Wild Nights, which is that kind of purpley pink color. And the names. So we've got the names overall are Wild Side, Spoiled Sexy, Mink Magnet, Lingerie Lover, Champagne Buzz, and Silk Sheets. I mean, even all of the names for this palette speak to kind of romantic, getting close with a significant other. And so this one had to be up high on the list for my Valentine's Day palettes. And every single look I do with that palette, they always turn out so, so beautiful. If you've been keeping count, we are now at the last palette, the number one, the reigning queen of the Valentine's Day palettes, at least for what is in my collection. And it is this wonderful beauty. The Colored Raine Queen of Hearts. The name, right? Queen of Hearts. First off, the name. Now let's take a look at the inside, because I dare you to tell me it does not give you Valentine's Day vibes. Here is the palette. It has beautiful shimmery metallic red, beautiful purples, and a nice gold, and this one I would call a taupey metallic that is just absolutely beautiful. Everything. I did so many looks with this palette when I first got it, and I love every single one of the shadows in here. If we take away the orange, virtually every one of these colors would be, in my opinion, very much Valentine's Day vibes. All of the mattes and all of the metallics or shimmers are absolutely beautiful. There's not a single look that I've done where I was disappointed with the outcome. It's an extremely flattering palette, and it's one that I highly recommend for virtually everyone. You can't not feel like you've got a beautiful look when you use it. That's in my opinion. So that one, the Dolly's Wild Side from Buxom, same thing on those. And the other one from earlier that you would have heard as well is the Naked 3 from Urban Decay. Every time I do a look, I get compliments. I wonder why I don't use it more. And I think it's just because it's softer colors, and I do like to pack a punch sometimes with my looks. Sometimes, most of the time. If you have some favorites in those 14, I would love to hear. And I also would love to hear if there are some palettes that I don't have or that I didn't put into this set of 14 that you think of as Valentine's Day or romantic palettes. So let me know, please. I'll be very curious to look at the comments. And that's it from me. I will definitely have a few more Valentine's Day inspired videos coming up. It is a day that I've always really liked, whether I'm celebrating alone or with someone, and I hope it's the same for you. There's no reason for us not to feel special. We don't have to have somebody else tell us we're special. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it every single time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. But for now, take care.